This video is on how to create a menu function. Many times in the future we're going to take and have a program that says, well, do you want to do this, press 1. If you want to do this, press 2. If you don't want it, if you want to exit, press 3. Okay, and we're going to write a function that will do that. You notice I took and created inside my input validation. If you're unsure what we're doing here, make sure you do video 1 today for sure. And then video 2 will explain how to create this do again function in here, okay? But anyway, I'm back to my validation, my main subroutine here, and I've cleared everything out because now I want to take and I want to create a menu program. A lot of times a menu program is going to say something like this: console.writeLine, this is my menu, or something like that. Okay, and then console, to my fingers, dot writeLine, and maybe something like a 1 and a backslash, and maybe the first one is add, okay, something like that, and then console dot writeLine, and maybe something like 2 subtract. Okay, and then maybe a console dot writeLine, and maybe this is going to be a 3 to exit, okay, something like that. Okay, and then you're going to type in a prompt for the user, okay, console dot write, okay, prompt, and you're going to say something like select. I don't know, we can say 1, 2, 3. Something like that. Quotation mark goes in there, okay, and then we got a variable here. Let's say selection is equal to console dot readline, like that, okay. And this is going to be a 1 to 3, so let's do a cint, okay, like that. Beautiful. And of course, selection isn't created yet. It's dim selection up here. Dim selection as a string. That, okay? And on our selections can't be a string. It's got to be integer, doesn't it? It's going to be a 1. Like that. Okay, that fixes all of our errors, okay? So now we'll go ahead, if we run it, okay, it's going to look something like this. Like a typical little menu system. Select 1 to 3. And I'm going to select a S, okay, because I don't know how to run this program. And it crashes and burns severely, okay, and very, very, very unprofessional, okay. So what we're going to do is we're going to create some type of making sure that it's a 1, 2, or 3, okay. Let's go ahead and write some code for that, okay. Let's do a do up here, a loop, okay, do, and then while selection. Okay, I want to check to make sure that this is a number, okay. So there's a cool little function we can use called is numeric right there, okay. I lost my selection, but selection like that, okay. And we're going to say while it's not, okay, while it's not, N-O-T, like that, okay. Well, it's not numeric, okay. A little error there, and it says, loop, I'm sorry, loop. That, okay, beautiful. So now, while it's not numeric, okay, then keep looping, okay, and let's see what happens there. Okay, get something like this, okay, and if I type a 1, it's going to pass right through, okay, no problem. If I take and run it again, this time I'm going to get a X, okay, and oh, it crashes and burns. That's no good, okay. Let's try it one more time here, and this time we're going to put in an 11, okay, and notice it likes that too. Well, that's two different things that we have to do, okay. First of all, it can't be numeric, okay, and second of all, it can't be a letter, okay. So, yeah, this right here seems to be a problem right here. We got selection C in. That's where it's crashing right there right now, okay? So let's say, let's see, let's call this something different. Let's make selection right now. Let's make that a string so we don't crash there. And then let's call it return value or something like that. We're going to say, what should we call that number? Selection number as integer. Like that, okay? And now let's get rid of this because that's causing that to crash right there because it's trying to convert that, okay? That, okay? Now if we go ahead and run it, you're going to notice that it will accept a, let's put in a letter this time, okay? And, oh, see now, look at that. It's smart enough that it knows I cannot put an S in there, okay? Now let's also put something in here that will say, well, it can't be, let's see, it can't be inside or outside of our range, okay? There's an and also. In this case, though, there's an or else. Or else works better. We'll talk about that later. But or else, and then now I want to check the parameters as being within my numbered limits, okay? And so I'm going to say cint my selection, okay? It's got to be while it's less than 1, okay? I want to give it all the bad criteria, so it keeps looping while I have bad criteria. That and, well, it can be and or it can be an or. Let's make it an or, okay? Cint selection is greater than 3, okay? Beautiful, just like that. Got a parenthesis here, and put a closing parenthesis there like that, okay? And now let's try running it. Okay, I'm going to put in an S, okay? There, it worked, okay? S, how about a 8, okay? Oh, how about a -1? That's all good, but the thing is that the user still says, well, I don't understand what I'm doing wrong, okay? Let's put a if statement in here. If there's a problem, okay, then tell the user that you can only do a 1 to 3, okay? So let's see, let's go if. Now once again, my condition is the same thing as my loop here, okay? So I'm going to grab all this grab all this stuff right here, like that. Control C that. I'm going to copy that. I'm going to stick it right in here, and at the end I'm going to put a then and hit enter, and you get your end if in there, okay? So if there is a problem, okay, let's tell the user that dot right line you must type number from 1 to 3. That, okay? Now let's go ahead and run it. Okay. Say, well, let's see. I'm going to type in a G, okay? You must type in a number from 1 to 3. I'm going to type in 11. Okay, I'm going to type in a 1. That's good. That fell through, okay? Now the only problem is I might want to say, well, that looks kind of dumb. Let's give the user a chance to hit enter and clear the screen, okay? Let's say console dot write. I'm going to say press return to continue. Like that. And I like to see a couple dots in there. Like that. And a quotation mark. And like that. Okay, I want to see 3 dots in there. That's just like what I like to see. And then what we're going to do is we're going to wait for the user console.readline, okay? Hit enter, and then we're console.clear, okay? Clear will help you clear up the screen, okay? Now let's go ahead and run it. Okay, 1 to 3, I'm going to hit a letter M that says you must type a number from 1 to 3, press enter to continue, and see how it clears the screen and allows me to put a number back in there again. Type in 11, must type a number from 1 to 3, okay, and this time I'm going to type in number 1, and it runs out. So we got a nice little thing going here, don't we? Okay, I think it's going to work quite well. Okay, I really can't think of anything else we can change until when we make this a function. So let's go ahead and create a function called menu, like that, okay? And we don't know what it's going to get yet. So let's just say, and let's return a number, okay, as integer, like that, okay? Beautiful. This time we're going to take and cut everything out of here. Take it all, except for make sure you leave your sub main and end sub up here. Cut that out of there, stick that right into this function, okay? And we got a little error down the bottom here. Let's return cint of my, what's it called, selection, right there, okay? Just return that, and it'll take care of all of our errors just like that. It says we really don't need a selection number. Let's get rid of that. Okay, there. Now we got a nice little function. Now all we have to do is we can say dim selection as integer, and selection is equal to menu, like that. Okay, that's all we need to do to call it. Isn't that a beautiful thing? Control F5 just to make sure it still works. Okay, type in something weird like B. Okay, enter, and I'm going to type in a 1, and that works. Okay, beautiful. And all I get up here is just a number. It's going to be returned and put into selection. Now the thing is a lot of times maybe you want to do something other than add and subtract and things like that. So let's add some parameters in here, okay? First of all, this title line, this right here, let's add that as a parameter. By val title as a string, okay? And then by val item 1 as a string, okay? And then by val item 2 as a string, like that, okay? And let's just say we're always going to put exit in there, okay? Let's go ahead and replace some of this stuff. Rather than printing out this generic one, let's print out whatever they send down, okay? This title. Don't put quotation marks in there, otherwise it's going to print out title. This way it'll print this out up here. I've got an error up here, but don't worry about that for now. Then also right here, what we're going to do is we want that 1 in there, but let's get rid of add, and let's say plus, and then item 1, like that, okay? And then get rid of subtract in here like this, and put in a plus item 2, like that, okay? Beautiful. Let's go ahead and put some parameters in here. It requires parameters now, so let's go put in here something like, what's the title going to be? My addition program, like that, okay? And the first one's going to be add, like we did before, okay? And the second one's going to be subtract, like that, okay? So now what's going to happen is we're going to send this information down here, and it's going to make this generic menu get this information. If we go ahead and run this right now, notice how it looks quite similar to the previous one. It's going to have all that built-in functionality of error checking. The only problem is maybe a person wants to make more than 2 items with exit, okay? And how can we make our program dynamic enough to work for us for quite some time without having to make some big changes, okay? And no problem, because we can make additional items optional, and I'll show you how to do that. I'm going to take and put a space in here, and, excuse me, a comma, space, underscore, and then I'm going to hit enter, and I can wrap this. You don't have to wrap it if you don't, but it makes it easier to see. And I'm going to add some more by val item 3 as a string, by val item 4 as a string, by val item 5 as a string. And I think that'll work for now. If you have additional ones you might want to add, you probably figure out how to take and make this a little more expandable, okay? The only thing is, it's possible, usually you have at least 2 items, so let's make these first 2 ones where they have to put in, let's make these other ones optional. Look at this. Like that, okay? If I make them optional, okay, I have to say, well, if they don't put anything in there, then just make this equal to empty quotation marks, okay? I'm going to wrap this one too, because I'm going to make this second one optional. Once you make one optional, all the rest of them have to be optional, okay? Is equal to quote, and the same thing here. Wrap that one optional. Optional is equal to quote, like that, okay? Notice how I don't have an error here now, okay? Because I can put in these 2 items, but I can also put in more than I want, okay? And now if we go ahead and run this, okay, you're going to notice we have the same thing, okay? However, if we were to add one more in here, comma, and the same multiply. That, it's accepted, okay? But you can see that, of course, it's not changing my program here when I run it, okay? I've got to fix that. Let's put some smartness in down here, okay, a little bit. Okay, let's see, right here. Here we're putting in all our items here. Let's take and add another item, okay? If item 3 is not equal to empty quotation marks, in other words, I'm sending it a parameter, okay, then, okay, let's go ahead and just copy this stuff here, because it's going to be kind of the same thing, like that, with item 3 in it, okay? The only problem is I don't want this to be a 2 here, okay, so I have to figure out a way to do that. Well, this dimension right here, this dimension num of items, like that, as integer, and of course it's going to be at least 2, okay, like that. Okay, so now we can say, well, if there's an item in there, let's increase that by 1. Num of items. What do we got here? Oh, it's not in there. Why don't I see that? Why don't I see that right here? Oh, I'm sorry, I made a mistake here. Equals. There we go. Sometimes it gets a little messy. Why doesn't it work? Num of items right there, plus equals 1. So now we got 3 in there, okay? And rather than a 2 here, let's get rid of that 2 for now. And let's put it in here this way. Num of items dot to string plus, just like that. There. Beautiful, okay? And let's do that for item 4 and 5 too. So I'm going to copy this. Let's stick it in here like this. Here's my 4 and there's my 5, and then make sure that you change this 3 here to a 4 and this 3 here to a 5. Okay, and then down here we want to say this 3 is going to be a 4 and this 3 here is going to be, cursor over there, a 5, like that, okay? Beautiful. Okay, now the only problem is this might not be a 3 anymore here. So we should take and we should add, let's see, 2. Yeah, we should add one more in here, okay? num of items plus equals 1, like that. And now we can take and change this from a 3 to a num of items dot to string and a plus in there, like that. Beautiful. Okay, now the only problem is we have is 3 here. This isn't going to be 3 anymore, is it? Okay, it's going to be number of items. Let's get rid of that 3. Put 2 quotation marks there and then go between them. And then we can take a plus num of items dot to string. And don't forget another plus there, like that. Okay. And then of course here we got it here again too. Fix this right here. Plus num of items dot to string, like that. Okay. And where else do we got to fix it? Oh, here, right here. That right there, okay, that's got to be num of items there too, because that could change. Num of items, and I've got one more down here, this num of items here. Fix that 3 with a num of items, like that. Okay, beautiful. Okay, now we should see 4 items up there. Let's see if it works. Look at that, they're all up there, 1, 2, 3, 4, and now I can say, oh, where's my divide? Oh, I gotta add it, don't I? Right up here. Comma. And you notice I got 1, 2, 3, 4. I could actually put one more in there if I want to do square root or something like that. Sure enough, there it pops up there just like that. And I'm going to type in a 7. Oh, that's not right. I'm going to type in, oh, I got an 8 there. Look at that. That's weird. Where did we go wrong here? And I know exactly where we went wrong here, okay? Number of items is equal to 2. Each time we run this, it's adding over and over again, okay? Let's take and put down here, num of items is equal to a 2, because that way it won't keep adding and things like that. Now if we go ahead and run it, okay, and we say select 1 to 5, I'm going to type in a G, okay? No, you must do 1 to 5. I'm going to do a 6. Nope, that doesn't work. I'm going to do a -1. Nope, that doesn't work. Okay, so I'm going to do a 1, and that works. Okay, beautiful. We've created a really nice little function called menu here. All we have to do is feed it a title, and then just the menu items, okay? And it will do up to 5 items if we want, and all the way down to 2 items if we want, okay? Because the first 2, the title, and the first 2 items, it's required that we give it values, but the rest of them are optional. Let's go ahead and cut this from here, like this. Make sure you don't take your end module. Cut that from here. We're going to put that in our input validation. Add that to one we already have in here, like that, okay? And now the only thing is that I would suggest that rather than menu, what you do is you actually put in the module. Input validation dot menu, right there. Beautiful, like that. Okay, so then the users know where it's coming from. Okay, so now we got the selection here. Okay, what we're going to do is we're going to do something with that selection. We're going to say if selection is equal to a 1, then this doesn't make any sense, but console dot write line going to the addition, like that. Okay, else if selection equals 2, then do something else. Okay, so now we can actually use that selection. Now let's say we want to take and make a loop out of the whole thing, okay? And so then what we do is we take and we go up here and we create right here, selection right here. We put a do above this. Okay, we want to loop this until the user doesn't want to, okay? And what we can do is we can say do loop while, okay? Loop while do again, let's tell it where it came from, okay? Input validation. Right there it is. Dot do again, okay, like that. I don't believe that receives any parameters, does it? Evidently it does. Do while that, oh, is not equal to, well, it's equal to a yes. Okay, let's do that again. Like that, okay? So now what's going to happen? Okay, here we go. I'm going to do an add, okay? And going to want to do it again? Yes, I want to, okay? And oh, we could put a clear screen in there, but it works now, doesn't it?